today. Good again. Good evening. Welcome to Wednesday, March. Darn it.
Hold on. Now I done let you go the last couple of weeks
I
because
was
you
doing
were on
good.
point. But now what is the word you say? You're backsliding.
I'm sorry, everybody. Forgive me. For some reason, the dates always excuse it.
Excuse you? Calm down, microphone holder.
I'm intimidated because I got these beautiful women up in here, and it's just so hard to concentrate.
Is that you know what I'm saying? There's three of us and two of them here. These beautiful women around. Okay.
Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm just messing up today. Today is March 18th, correct? Okay.
Which is what day?
Today is Tuesday.
Okay, there you go.
All right, Enliven Radio, we're here, part of LegacyInternetRadio.com. Everybody's listening out there on the MixLR radio page and also the TuneIn application and anywhere else you just may happen to catch us around the world. I'm your host and one and only Mr. LP Stephen Sykes, and today we have great people here to go in. I'm just excited for this day because I've been looking forward to this day. But before we go forward, as always, I try to open up the show with a prayer. Hold on, Miss. But no. I told you was gonna get okay. You gonna do the prayer, ma'am? Okay,
certainly.
Okay, this is the lovely Miss Tasha, and she is gonna lead us in prayer today.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity of gathering together, Lord God. Let everything that we do be in unison, Lord God. Let everything be edifying to you, Lord God. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for this fellowship that we're developing. And we praise you and we honor you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. See, Miss Bless, I'm gonna get you one of these days. I'm just gonna get you to call in and do the prayer for us one day. Okay. Well, today is a good day. First off, I pray that everybody's safe. We got through this. We haven't even finished through it, but we got through got part of the snowstorm, and we got 2-3 inches here, and the black ice everywhere, and all the other different stuff. Yeah, there's more coming. They said some people say there's more, some they say there's not. I don't know, but we're gonna do what we can. But today is MMA Day and fitness and all the other good stuff. And as promised, I've always tried to keep a fair amount of diversity. And we always want to make people feel comfortable and enjoy themselves and things like that. And also have women involved who into fitness and taking care of themselves. And they always have a lot of questions and stuff. And I never want to make things one-sided, all male and all female. First off, Mr. Sincere, our good co-host, how are you doing today?
Well, you want me to start from the top or just from where I'm at right now? Okay.
Start where you feel, bro.
I got twisted up yesterday because I got up, got dressed to go to work, and then it was like 2-hour delay. So I was ready to go out the house, and then all of a sudden, before I could leave out the house, school was closed. So then this morning I said, hey, let me lay a little longer. Maybe we'll get the 2-hour delay. We'll transfer again. Unfortunately, it didn't. Uh-oh. So we had to go to school today.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
So you know how that goes. Well, anyway, but it's work though, so it was all good.
All right, I'm gonna go around to the ladies around the room first. In the back here, who led us in prayer, the lovely and wonderful, and I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Well, my name is Tasha Simmons. I'm having an awesome day. Excited about the conversation we're going to have this evening.
Cool. And as a standard customary rule, you must identify age, height, weight, rank, single,
Really?
job.
Really?
Just beautiful.
Why are you trying to mess it up? I had her. She's just beautiful. Okay. Well, over here to my far right, I have the lovely Miss Bless. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful today, as you can tell.
Yes, it is.
In top form right now.
You're in a top form, and I'm ready for you. And I have two experts here with us today, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves today.
My name is Tom Lawlor. I'm a current UFC fighter. I also work at the MMA Institute here in Richmond. I am 6 foot tall, absolutely beautiful.
There you go.
Pretty, handsome.
I agree.
Oh, thank you very much. I am single, and I think that covers all the bases.
Okay,
I'm 210 pounds.
Okay, you educated?
Slightly educated.
Okay.
Yeah, I hold a bachelor's degree
There you
in
go.
social science education from University of Central Florida.
There you go.
Go Knights.
There you go. There you go. See, that's where we get the ladies are happy for you. So we got to be fair. And for you, sir.
Yeah, I'm Rick McCoy. I founder and owner of an MMA Institute here in Richmond. Not as pretty as Tom, but try to keep up with these young cats. Yeah, that's about it. I'm not going to give out all my information either. So.
Are you single?
I am not.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, well, you're supposed to say hi to the significant other here. Also.
Hey, Joanna, she probably is out there listening.
Okay, that's not a problem. Okay, I don't want to get you in trouble at home. It's like, how you didn't say hi to me?
No,
You know.
yeah, we're good now.
All right. Before we get into it, we try to open up a show and not only prepare with positive statement things. I'm going to let Miss Tasha go in the back and let her read hers.
All right. My positive affirmation is be confident. Too many days we waste comparing ourselves to others and wishing to be something that we aren't. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. And it is only when you accept everything you are and aren't that you will truly be able to succeed.
There you go. All right. And you gentlemen, I'll let you go ahead.
This one's great, by the way.
No, thank you, sir.
If a man has talent and cannot use it, he has failed. If he has a talent and uses only half of it, he has partly failed. If he has a talent and learns somehow to use the whole of it, he has gloriously succeeded and has a satisfaction and triumph few men ever know.
Awesome. I loved it. And for you, sir?
Okay, that's good. As a leader, you should always start with where people are before you try to take them to where you want them to go.
Very good. Ms. Bless, you out?
I don't have one.
Okay, you can read the next one.
Third one and fourth one down.
If there's something you want to build, but the tech isn't there yet, just find the closest possible way to make it happen. Without the computer blowing up, evidently.
Okay. We'll take that one. So, gentlemen, how was your week first before we harass you?
So far, it's been great. We've been open even with the weather, so
Not a
everything's
problem.
been going good.
All right. So I'll start to my, it'd be to my right, to your left, sir. Tell us, sir, how did you, where are you from?
Well, originally I'm from Providence, Rhode Island, or the Providence, Rhode Island area. I lived in Florida for about 15 years, and recently, this past year, moved here to Richmond.
And what made you, obviously you're a good man, you went to school and graduated things, would you always? Okay, we won't get into there, we're not going to make, mama might be listening, mom and dad, so, was you always into MMA and things when you were growing up, or, granted, you're still a young man, so this was still, recent in terms of the forefront and things, was this something you always decided to get into, or what made you decide to get a degree in social sciences, but then also end up in MMA?
Well, actually, I'm probably one of the few people that are my age. I'm 30 years old right now that have been following the sport almost since it began, which would have been when I was in 6th grade. So I guess maybe the past 18 years or so. Sounds about right.
Okay.
And I loved watching it as a kid. I think it's one of the most pure forms of sport. It's one-on-one. If you win, then you did everything in your power to make that happen. And if you lose, there's no one else you can blame except for yourself. And in a lot of team sports, you hear guys saying, "Oh, this guy missed a block," or this guy didn't make the play, and they blame wins and losses on that. But in fighting, you have one person that you can rely on. I mean, you have teammates that are also part of the journey as well. But when it comes down to getting in the fight, really it's you that's in there. So you get all the glory. If you lose, hey, go back to the drawing board, and there's nothing bad about that. You can find success in other avenues, even beyond wins and losses.
Did it something that you felt like? When you also got your degree, you felt that you were doing that as a backup or something else, or what made you get into social sciences?
My parents yelled at me, told me I had to finish college since they were paying for it.
Good man.
No, but yeah. In middle school and high school, I always enjoyed history. I think you can learn a lot from the past and make predictions on the future. Maybe things don't always repeat. Maybe they don't always repeat themselves exactly, but the old adage is that history repeats itself, and in many cases that is true. I taught high school for about 2 years in Florida, and at the same time I was fighting professionally. And I decided, if this is something that I want to do, I need to put all my efforts into it. So I went back to graduate school and was lucky enough to get on the Ultimate Fighter Season 8 with the UFC soon thereafter, and I've been with them ever since. That was about almost 6 years ago. So
congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a cool journey.
And for you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're only a little bit older than him.
Slightly.
And everything. So what got you into MMA?
I just saw I saw a video, one of the first Ultimate Fighter championships, and the next day I was looking for a place to train. I mean, I wrestled most of my life. I started with judo in like 3rd grade. I did traditional martial arts, karate, that type of stuff, and some kickboxing. And, it was in my 20s when I saw it, so I had been out of it a few years. And then when I saw it, I was just fell in love, and that was in 95, and I've been doing it since, yeah.
Oh, my. So you did such a good 20, just about 20 years now.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Well, let me ask you this. What else did you go to school for and did you try to do as well?
I went to VCU Business School. I actually didn't finish. I'm a few credits short, but real estate and land development.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
So you're home. Are you from this area?
No, I'm originally from Salt Lake.
Okay.
And
what brought you all the way from Salt Lake?
my grandmother lives out here.
Okay.
So
hang with grandma for a little bit.
Hang with your grandma. Grandma's great.
Yes, grandma's good. So what made you decide to open up a studio here?
I've actually been an entrepreneur for a long time. I actually own some other businesses, and I really didn't want to open a gym, to be honest with you, because I always said if I do that, it'll change it'll become a business. So, yeah, exactly. But it just became time. I mean, there was nothing really around here what I would want, like a legit gym type thing. And when I decided, I had a lot of people backing me, trying to talk me into it, and eventually, the young lady I mentioned earlier, Jonah, was a big push to me. And
congratulations.
And I just went ahead and took the plunge, and here I am.
She married you and got your business going.
What's that?
She helped me. She married you and got your business going.
We didn't get married yet.
Okay, problem.
We're engaged.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get you in trouble.
We're good. It took me 11 years to open a gym. It's taken me a few years. We're engaged now. We're working on it.
Well, congratulations. I didn't mean to try to get you in trouble.
That's all right. We're good.
And everything. So, what made you decide to open up? Your gym is located where?
On Jenk Road, 6415 Jenk Road, corner of Jenk Road and German School.
Your website?
MMA Institute.com.
And the phone number?
804-330-3424.
All right. How much money is in your bank account?
Oh, man. Not enough.
Okay, I was trying to.
This is a business of love. I'll tell you that. It's not a. I do a lot of things because I love it. That's for sure.
And I appreciate. What made you decide to open up in Southside versus all the other places?
I wasn't really set anywhere, to be honest. I was originally looking at rent and stuff, and for the size I wanted and all that. It just ended up being in a standalone building. I didn't have to worry about us falling into the walls and knocking the store supplies off the next. Well, I've seen that in other gyms. So, yeah, it just worked out. I like the location after some searching, and it's where I'm at. Been there the whole time.
What do you think is the? And I have so many questions in my head, but I want to get everybody else involved. Mr. Sincere?
My question is, when you were in what was your name?
Tom.
Pardon. When you were you went to Central Florida, so that's in Orlando.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. You know to get back.
It's in the middle part of the state.
How did you teach there, or did you teach when you came up this way? 2 years you did.
Yeah, I taught in Florida.
Okay.
I taught at a high school called University High School, which was it was like a mixed. It was a mixed bag. A mixed socioeconomic group. I'll tell you, this is like, it's a low light, but it was probably the most eventful thing that happened was the first week I was there, actually, one of my students got stabbed to death. Whoa. Not in my classroom, but in the parking lot in a fight over a girl. And, that was like, That was shocking to me. It was one of the worst things that I could have imagined.
God.
It was first week. First week.
Wow.
With fighting would be easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Stab it.
So a lot of this is self-defense.
I'm sorry.
One of the things that I guess helped encourage you was the aspect of learning, helping other people to self-defend themselves and stuff.
Yeah. I was already involved in the sport at that time. But yeah, it's weird. I was never big into martial arts as a child, or big into like the self-defense scene. Like a lot of people look at that and Bruce Lee movies, and they love all that stuff. I was never really into that. I looked at it more from like a sporting background, like a sporting sense, and for fitness application. So there are a lot of things you can learn as far as self-defense goes from the sport, but I guess I had never really looked at it from that standpoint at that point.
I'll ask a question. For someone that's interested in it, what kind of preparation would you say they would need before they jumped into it?
Really, I mean, we like at our gym, it's all levels, so there's no real preparation. I mean, are you talking about training or fighting? Well,
training
first. Yeah, but there's no. I mean, you just do it. I mean, it's obviously everybody that comes in has different fitness levels and stuff like that, but we have classes for all fitness levels. So. And the way the classes are set up, you're partner based. Everything's partner based, but you kind of go at your own pace, and it never gets easy. So you can always kind of up it to the next level, and but it's always the same. But you can always up it to the next level and push it a little harder, type stuff. It's just the type of exercises we do.
Okay, and the fighting aspect, is that different?
It's different. There's a lot of things to fighting as far as what like if somebody comes to the gym specifically for fighting, it really depends on their background. One of the best backgrounds to have is wrestling, but are
you partial there because you used to be a wrestler?
I am, but no, I believe that because the wrestlers, like if you're a striker and you don't have wrestling, somebody's going to take you down and make you fight on the ground. If you're a ground fighter and you're a wrestler, you can take the fight to the ground because the wrestlers really do kind of dictate where the fighters go. Where the fight goes, and you can learn to fight without wrestling, but you have to learn to wrestle. Wrestling is definitely in there.
Majority of the fights end up on the ground anyway, correct?
It really depends on the styles of the two. I mean, as they say, style makes fights, and if you watch a lot of fights, it really depends on the two combatants what happens. Back in the day when people weren't really prepared, and they had Hoist Gracie, who was the first guy that brought about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to the mainstream. He only knew how to fight on the ground. He definitely took the fight there, and most of the guys that were fighting at the time weren't prepared for that at all. The sport has really evolved past that, and you'll see 5-round fights barely touch the ground, and that's because either somebody doesn't want to go there or they're stopping somebody from taking them there. So.
Rick, have you noticed the trend of male versus females entering into the sport now?
There's definitely a trend of more females. The UFC just recently opened a female division, which is huge for the sport for females. They're getting ready to open another weight class, I believe 115. Right now they have 135. Ronda Rousey is the kind of the face, if anybody's familiar with her, Olympic judo. Bronze. You know what year? Was it 2004? Okay, I think yeah. But yes, I mean she's kind of the face now. 2008. Okay. Okay. Anyway, we like at our gym we have a couple of female fighters. They're real good. It's I would say it's still dominated by males, but. It's definitely coming more acceptable for females, and we've always had a large female student base just because of the aspects of getting fit, learning some self-defense, and learning something that they're interested in, and actually getting in shape while they're doing it.
If I can add something here, oftentimes females are kind of intimidated sometimes going into a gym because it is, a mostly male environment. There are quite a few females that train at the MMA Institute, and also, it's great to see them in there. And a lot of times they work harder than the guys, okay? Because they're not. You have to take into account that a lot of people that fight are doing it because they think there's a future in it. They want to get money. They want to have some glory, something along those lines. Females come in and there's not as many opportunities in the sport, so they're really doing it to better themselves, which is refreshing to see. And I know for a fact, I don't know why this is, but females always have better technique. They focus on technique. They get technique better. They have no ego. Guys are really quick to rush in, and they want to do things their way. Females will listen to anything you say, and they're like a sponge, and they absorb it. Good-looking sponge, but not like a dirty like kitchen. Yeah, like a dirty kitchen sponge.
Mr. Sincere.
Question for Rick. What's the process like for someone who's coming in for the first time? What are the kind of questions you ask them, and then what's the process of them getting started from like point A to?
We actually do have a process, and when they first come in, we actually do ask them. We want to find out what they want out of it, because, like you say, we do kickboxing class. There's a lot of things you can actually want out of that. You can want self-defense. You can want fitness. You can want that. You want to be a kickboxer. You want to use that to become an MMA fighter. So we find out their goals, and then from that point, we offer everybody a free private lesson. So we find out their goals, then we give them a free private lesson. We do a fitness evaluation, and then if they like it, then we go from there, and they jump right in.
Couple of questions. You see a lot with what do you see for the options for women who are different? They're not the 135 and they're not the 115, but they're the 185 to 205, things like that. You see the classes for boxing and and also in the wrestling, and I've seen in women, female, but I'm not seeing that latitude within a female.
The options are there. The options are going to be based on who else is out there. Right now, the UFC, that's a big deal that they're there. But right now, there's just one division, period. Now they're getting ready to add another, and they're two. If you think about it, it's two divisions below it, because the weight classes go every 10 pounds. So they're skipping 125 and going 115, and the reason they're doing that is so the smaller girls can go up to 115, but the 115 people are in between can go up to 135. But if it keeps on going like it is, hopefully they'll have as many weight classes as the males do. And just recently, for the first time, females headlined a card, and they did well as far as pay-per-views go. So at the end of the day, for the UFC, it's a business, so they're going to kind of see how that goes and see the money as it comes in, and if the fans are supporting it. If the fans are supporting it, the sky's the limit.
If I can add something about the way the UFC did it as well, if you take a look, their weight class that they started with is 135. Now, that's because in a large part it's due to how remarkable of a person as far as marketing goes that Ronda Rousey is. She has an Olympic medalist background. She's a polarizing personality. She's all right looking. I'm not totally sold on her, to be honest, but whatever, who cares? She probably turned me down anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But she's a good person to market, so that's why they chose that weight class. If you look throughout the mixed martial arts history, I'm not sure, but I think the viewership for Chris Cyborg Santos versus Gina Carano may even have been close, or it might be the most viewed female fight of all time, and that was fought at 145. And so really, I think a lot of it has to do with who's marketable at a certain time, because there are a lot of good-looking girls in the 115 division that they're going to have on TV, so they'll be able to market those girls pretty well. But you see, a lot more the higher weight classes for females in kickboxing, more so even than MMA. But there are quite a few. There's Invicta Fighting Championships, which is an all-female promotion that puts on great shows. All their shows are fantastic. They have great fighters, and they have a wide range of weight classes.
Yeah. Invicta is like the UFC for females. Almost all of the new talent that's coming in is coming from Invicta. They have even though they're under contract with Invicta, they have some type of relationship, and they're pretty much giving all their fighters. There's the next Ultimate Fighter reality series is going to be all female, I believe, and they introduced the 115-pound division. So, yeah, I mean, the sport's growing. Like I said, if you're a female and this is something you're interested in, this is a great time to get into it for sure.
Well, going into that, for your studio, what are the hours? Because there's a reason why I go to Gold's Gym.
Okay. Our hours, we're there from 9 to 9, so we're over 12. And everything's class-based. We have open mats. But anytime we're there, if you want to come in and hit the bags and stuff like that, we're always open for that. But we have a schedule that there's also classes in there, for starting at 10 till going up to 9, just sporadic. At nighttime, pretty much from 5 o'clock to 9. That's our busy time.
One of the things I've got questions is weight issues. Those who are trying to get down and things like that, or gain, or someone who's trying to lose. What are some of the issues that you've seen with this and some of the best?
I'm going to, just because me and Tom have this conversation quite a bit, because I've obviously back in the day I did it, but he's also a competitive eater.
Congratulations! That's hardcore.
I wish we could pull it up. He's done some amazing things food wise.
Wow.
So.
More so than fighting wise.
Yeah, so he's
really impressive things.
He's pretty amazing. I joke about it, but he likes to eat, and he's we've had this conversation. Right now he fights at 185. He was actually started the show at 205.
Wow.
Yeah, and now he wants to go back to 205. We're discussing that. I mean, obviously it's his decision, but I'll turn this over to him. He'll definitely be able to explain that more.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's great if you're looking to lose weight by getting involved in mixed martial arts. There's almost nothing better. I think it's almost like one of these things that, your body, you're going to eat whatever you want. I mean, maybe you want to eat healthier, maybe you want to eat a little bit worse, doesn't matter. But if you're training on a consistent basis, your body will kind of even itself out. You'll find a way and a perfect weight that you should be at. Now, you can make some tweaks here and there in order to gain weight or lose weight rapidly or over a period of time. But I really think that training mixed martial arts, whether it's kickboxing, whether it's jiu-jitsu, no matter what it is, you're going to develop you're going to work the stabilizer muscles, maybe a lot of times that you're not working at Gold's or one of the other gyms. And you're going to shred a lot of fat. I mean, it's inevitable. So, I think it's kind of like it evens you out to a baseline, as far as weight goes. And then you can kind of, make some tweaks here and there and build off of that.
What are some of the better foods that you've seen that you guys stick with the food theme that you feel that is best in working regardless of whichever direction, weight, conditioning, whatever, therapy from injury? What are some of the things that you feel food-wise is best that you see works for your gym?
I think if you want to cut weight, the best idea would be to go to Caliente, which is over. No, hear me out, okay? It's over kind of in the museum district, and they have a hot wing challenge. I think you have to eat, is it 5 or 6?
Is that the stupid wing challenge?
Yes,
it's terrible.
but I guarantee you will lose weight afterwards because you
never heard of this.
You will be vomiting for hours upon end. So definitely go check out Caliente and have the stupid wings there.
Yeah.
I would have worn my shirt if I would have known that you were.
I remember when Richmond came here that day to did the show.
Yeah, that's exactly where he went. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
I've got a bone to pick with Adam Richmond.
Yes.
If you want me to air it out right now, I can.
Go ahead.
I sent him a message on Twitter when I was living in Providence, Rhode Island, and said, "Hey, if you ever come here, because I knew he wasn't doing the challenges anymore, if you come here for your show, I'd like to be involved." And he got back to me and said, "That's great. My sound guy is a big UFC fan. I'll reach out to you." Lo and behold, never happened. And they did a show in Providence while I was there, and they grabbed some. I don't want to badmouth the guy, but his eating capacity was not up to my level. And he failed the challenge. I was strongly disappointed. I sent Adam Richmond a strongly worded letter, and he never responded to me. So.
Excellent.
But to go back and answer your original question,
I was satisfied with the answer. But go ahead.
Honestly, on a daily basis, if you stuck to eating like healthy meats and an enormous amount of vegetables, you'd be in really good shape. All right. Forget all the other stuff. Forget all the starchy carbs and stuff like that. if you take in rice or potatoes or fruit after a workout, your body's going to utilize that better. So kind of as an idea, I try to keep it somewhat low carb before I exercise, especially because I don't want to be digesting food at that time. So I don't have like huge meals, but right after I work out, then I go nuts. So with good stuff, with potatoes, sweet potatoes, white rice, and lean meats and vegetables.
Oh my.
What I wanted to see was Mr. Sykes. Why don't we go ahead and go in together and see what we can come up with?
I first went to your gym one time when it first started. I think that first week I went in and did the thing, because I did shadow boxing some years ago in high school and college, and I did it because I'm pretty flexible. After, say, 13, 14 years ago, I had a bad car accident, and I gained literally 100 pounds. I went from 160 to 260 real fast in 6-7 months. I have not been able to get it back down because of the fact that I take a lot of asthma medicine and steroids for it to keep going. If I don't, even though I work hard, I stay pretty busy. And even though when I exercise and things like that, I can't make it without the medicine. Yeah, but then at the same time, I have H. pylori, which basically overbuilds lactic acid in your body. Ooh. So basically, if running a mile, it feels like 10 marathons in my legs, and I'll be cramping after a while. I drink but I drink a lot of water. I have to drink sometimes carbonated, like either the Sprite Zeros or the ginger ale club sodas. I used to drink a lot, and everything else. But when that H. pylori kicked it in, it was really bad. But now the problem is it causes a lot of bloating, which kills my stomach and things like that. So that's where I have not been able to continue, not just with this, but exercising as heavy as I would like to, because either my legs or my lungs. So my question, which alludes when you
I just need to do it myself. Is what you're saying? You're not going to be able to come in and just. No.
I'm going to make an effort to go back into it and stuff like that.
You can go light. You can just go super light.
Yeah, I mean that is. You can go at your own pace. That is one thing. The people that have stuck with. We've had quite a few. Success stories. We had a set of twins that came in. They were both, well over 300 some pounds, and probably 6 to 8 months, they both dropped like 110 pounds. We have one of my favorite people there. I call him Slim, but he dropped 100 pounds. At the end of the day, everybody's going to be, the disclaimer, these results will be individualized, whatever. Yeah, but you get out of it what you put into it. People respond differently to exercise. I don't care what it is. There's people genetics. But at the end of the day, I believe anybody that sticks with it, perseverance, over time, you're going to see results. A lot of times I tell people about dieting. It's dieting at the simplest, purest form, besides medical issues, is you're going to if you take in more calories than you're burning, you're going to gain weight. If you take in less calories than you're burning, you're going to lose weight. Now, of course, upping your metabolism means you can keep the same amount of food intake, and you're going to end up burning more calories because you've upped your metabolism. So it doesn't necessarily mean because you're working out that you have to change a lot of things besides trying to eat clean. That's always, we try to keep it simple. We had dietitians and stuff work at our gym, but when somebody comes to me, everybody, the education's out there. I can tell you, what eating clean means. Eating McDonald's French fries is, everybody's pretty aware, as awesome as they are. And I love, it's one of my downfalls in life. I love McDonald's French fries, that's why I'm bringing them up. But everybody knows they're not healthy for you. So
Wendy's has sea salt.
Okay, well, I like McDonald's, so we're going to go with McDonald's. But, everybody knows, it's not like you have to change your whole life up to eat clean. So, if you want, after you start that and get good habits, then I tell people come back and we can start fine-tuning, your diet and stuff. But at the end of the day, don't fall for all that fad stuff. Don't fall for any quick fix. Everybody knows how to eat clean. If you don't, there is Google, but everybody pretty much knows.
Can I ask, what are the risks of doing this? Of course, you always risk hurting something, pulling something.
As far as the sport goes, it's safer than most high school sports. Like the injuries and stuff. I mean, because for a long time it was illegal. There was a lot of political pressure even to shut down MMA, and we started beating them with facts. And there's more kids killed in high school football every year than there's been in the whole history of MMA. There's been a couple of tragedies in the sport in the 20 plus years, but some of them they had pre-existing conditions. If they would have went out and exerted themselves riding a bike, they'd have had the same problem. So most of the damage you see, that's why having a good ref's a really, really, really big thing. I mean, the ref's in there to protect yourself, protect the fighters, and usually you'll see blood and stuff. That's all superficial. I mean, I'd rather get a cut than have, people are like, oh, he got his arm broken, but they see a cut and they think that's worse. I'd rather get a little cut, 3 stitches, than have my arm broken. So most of the stuff you see and people freak out about is all superficial damage. I mean, it looks bad, but it's, getting a car accident, NASCAR, that's going to be a lot worse on your body. Bull ride, way worse. I mean, I'm messing with another 200-pound man. I'm not grabbing a 500-pound bull. Safety-wise, it's way safer. And as far as just the regular students in there, I mean, especially with the kickboxing, I mean, you have to go through a process to even think about somebody else hitting you. Everything's pad work, partner-based. There's no contact until you're, A, you want to do it, and there's no pressure to do it, and B, you actually have the skill sets to do it.
If I can suck up a little bit here, a lot of it comes down to the trainers that you have, because the sport's evolved, and Rick does a great job of this. You're not just walking in the gym and then fighting 2 weeks later with no background. A lot of coaches now, they're real hands-on. They know their stuff. They're going to make sure that even if you're not fighting, that you're doing the technique properly, so you're not getting injured. It's not a situation where you come in and if there's a class going on, you're just left to your own devices and screwing stuff up. The good coaches try to make corrections. They try to make sure that you're well prepared across the board, and that helps cut down on injuries and risk a lot.
Is there anything that would make you all turn someone away? Any pre-existing?
Like if you come in there and you have health issues and you think they could be a problem, I'm not a doctor, and that's what I'm going to say. If you think there's going to be an issue, go get cleared by a doctor. I mean, it's really that simple. I mean, if you have, I mean, there's not too many things, because, like I said, we go at our own pace. I would turn you away for. But if there's issues and there's issues, I mean, obviously be smart. Go talk to your doctor. Hopefully you go to a doctor that's educated about what we do. I mean, not that you have to be super educated, but realize there's not going to be contact. You're not going to get punched in the head when you come into the gym. And I really believe it's for everybody, because you can start out at your own pace. We're going to push you, because that's what people pay us for, is to take you to another level, and then the next level after that, next level after that. But at the end of the day, you're going to go at your own level, and we know when the good coaches are going to know how to push you. It's not you have to keep up with the pro fighter. You're going to go. Everybody has their own pace, and we accept that, and we teach it at their own pace.
What have you noticed to kind of be the time frame for preparing your body or preparing the fighter to get into a match or a competition?
Once again, it's so individualized. It's a hard one. I mean, like I said, athletic ability definitely comes into play. Experience, like I said, wrestling, or I've had people with no wrestling come in with kickboxing experience. I've had people come in from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and at this point in the game, you can't be one-dimensional, I guess. Back in the day, if you were a purple belt or above in Jiu-Jitsu, you pretty much knew who was going to win. Those days are long, long, long gone. So I take into consideration previous experience. I take into consideration athletic ability. But the biggest thing I take in consideration is consistency, perseverance, and being in the gym. A lot of people say, "Oh, I've been training for 5 years," but that person that's trained 5 years might gone to the gym 2 times a month, and then I have guys that are in there for a year they're literally every day for hours. They are going to be better in 1 year than the guy that's been there for 5 years. So it's just mat time. So if you put the time in, I have guys that really want it, and I'm going to judge that on an individual basis. And because also then you have the process from amateur to pro, and the first fights we're gonna start you out slow. I like people that haven't had any competition experience before to start out with like just pure grappling competitions before they add in striking, just because a big thing that people don't understand is
Competition anxiety.
Yeah, competition anxiety, and it's on another level when somebody's punching you in the face. So, so if you've never competed before, it's a good thing to get some other competition type stuff in before you step into a match where you could get punched in the face.
Well, you saying other type of competition, like another sport?
No, wrestling or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or just straight up submission grappling, or even kickboxing with limited rules. So, take out the elbows, take out the knees, the head type stuff. And, kind of just baby step it along. And, like I said, it's once again totally individualized. But, I've been doing this long enough. I know. I mean, I've had guys come in, especially like high-level wrestlers, and I'm blessed to have a lot of high-level wrestlers. I've had Donnie Uden probably had his first fight in 2 months.
Wow.
But, he's high-level wrestler. But I've had guys with no experience, a year and a half, 2 years. So, and then I'm still a little worried for them. But, they usually do me proud regardless. So, yeah. I guess that's it. You want to add anything, Tom? Yeah.
6 days. Start the fight. I get you ready to go in 6 days.
I'm ready for that. I'm willing to go all day for 6 days.
It's got to be a long 6 days.
And that's not
Money
a problem.
back guarantee.
I'm willing to give. You told me I can get in the best shape of my life in 6 days. I'm willing to go 18 hours a day.
No, see, that's the thing. You have to make it a lifestyle. You can't just jump into it. You gotta ease into it. You gotta make it a lifestyle, and that's really where the gains come.
Oh my.
Question. I watch still watch some wrestling sometimes.
Oh, this is the man. He loves wrestling.
How did you feel? Because with TNA when they brought in Rampage Jackson and the other guy, how did you feel? Whether that was good, bad, or indifferent about bringing those guys into that environment, knowing that type of wrestling really is not really wrestling.
Whoa.
Now I'm a wrestling dude now. I've been watching wrestling for years and years, but I knew there's a certain level of athleticism that you have to have, period, just to be in it. So some of it I'm not saying is all fake, but there's a difference when you see how they're performing from the old days when Flair and them used to get it in.
Yeah. Okay, so you want to talk about TNA and then bringing in Rampage and those guys? Because I could go on. I mean, I'll be here for 12 hours.
Trust me, Marcus J. and Honer and Big Rube and every Sincere here, we big time wrestling fans grew up with it, so they can tell you some stuff.
That's the way it should be.
This guy's great.
Did you buy that WWE package?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I signed that. I can't remember if it went live at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m., but I was there at either 7:45 or 8:45 signing up and waiting for that first welcome message from Vince McMahon. And let me tell you, it is absolutely phenomenal. I love every second of it. I throw it on the TV, I sit there and I watch it, and it brings me back to a happy place. Don't forget it, but that statement that I read at the beginning, that positive statement, WWE Network might be even more positive. It might be bringing even more positive than that to my life. I love it.
You want to go, not to take you away from your question, but you going to go pro, go do wrestling?
I'd prefer not to touch on this subject. It's a sore subject in my mind. We can get into it another time. But I have done some professional wrestling in the past.
Okay. Mom wouldn't let you?
I'll tease that. You're trying to coax him out. You're trying to pull him out.
Okay, so TNA brought in Rampage and King Mo and some of those guys, Tito Ortiz, which I think is great as far as getting their names out there, maybe to a different audience. But let's be honest, they weren't too good at their job. They were not very good pro wrestlers, okay? And that's really what it boils down to. If you took, you could take the biggest star in pro wrestling and throw them into a fight, and they might get a lot of fans, okay? But if they can't perform, at an adequate level, you're going to have the same problem there where, maybe they're getting some notoriety, but really deep down, not doing too good. Yeah. I mean, Brock Lesnar was, kind of the exception to the rule. And there are a few other guys that are pro wrestlers that would probably do really well. Another thing that you see guys like fighters go into pro wrestling. I'll just be honest. I don't like talking to most fighters because they're really boring or they have like terrible attitudes. A lot of times guys, they have no personality. If, they're just some guys fight because they at a high level because they want to be the man. They want to be like, the alpha dog in the room. And that's really not my style. So when those kind of people kind of cross over into pro wrestling, they don't have as much personality in my opinion. So I think it's good to have a crossover, but mostly if it involved me, it would be a lot better.
Okay.
The way I get scared about it is in thinking at it from a business sense. Obviously, wrestling is one thing. This is serious. I don't want the misconception to be diluted.
Correct, but if you're looking at it from a business sense, okay, TNA Wrestling is on a Viacom network. Viacom itself owns Bellator. So or they own like a majority of it. So for them to put some of those fighters into that, it's like a win-win for both. Because maybe you'll get some fans from Bellator watching TNA that normally wouldn't, and maybe vice versa. But it's really helping out Bellator in the long run because they own it. They don't own TNA. TNA is just a property that's on their network, so they can really use that to their advantage.
Ms. Tasha?
Have any questions about Hulk Hogan or perhaps Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock? I'd be happy to answer them all.
No, I'll pass on that subject matter.
The Rock in the new Hercules movie, though.
The Rock is the highest grossing movie star of last year.
Yeah,
it should have been.
That's
Much work
unbelievable.
God, he did a lot of work.
The Tooth Fairy is great.
What you guys have already answered a lot of things because I wanted to clear up the misconceptions for a lot of myths that parents or individuals may have. Like one of them was number one, MMA is dangerous.
And real quick, we haven't touched on this. We do have a kids program.
Okay, that's where I was heading.
It's one of the many joys I have as a coach and seeing how it affects people's lives. Definitely, there's a couple things as far as what parents want out of the program, and I would say the biggest thing is self-confidence. I mean, with self-confidence comes a lot of things that are, people don't even think about, that it affects all aspects of their lives, and obviously in a positive way. So, we've tried to blow up, obviously, their grades and how they do outside of the gym, and anything they learn inside a gym is not acceptable to use it except to defend themselves. So, it's a big, honestly, we kind of have to carry that across to our adults. We're not, there's no bullies. We kind of have a really cool environment there. And guys that come in that have that mentality or kind of that, they don't last long, or they kind of come in and be cool. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Because that's one of the bigger things I've always felt like they're not looking to this as the level of discipline that it could provide the same level as if I took my kid to get karate classes or soccer classes and things like that. Especially with a lot of those with mental health and things, I felt that this will be another way to channel that anger management, the conflict with authority, peer disassociation, all those different things.
Yeah, on that, it's not totally set yet, but I'm speaking a little bit. But I'm getting ready to work with the Wounded Warrior. We're going to be almost like a
awesome.
Yeah, what would be a trial thing that with the Wounded Warriors will be the first gym to work with using mixed martial arts for the Wounded Warriors.
If that
I'm super excited about that. It's
when you get ready to get and that gets going and gets go full time, please let us know.
Okay,
because we would definitely love
to
let that know. One of the other things we myth too, and which you already touched on, MMA is difficult to learn. I don't think that's the case because there's different styles.
It's to be a complete fighter, it takes time. I mean, there's no secrets out there. There's no magic technique. It's just you know, like I said, it's going to be individualized, athletic, past experience, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, it's not. It's just like anything. If you want to be good at it, you got to spend the time doing it. It's not nothing crazy or hard besides putting the time in.
One of the things it says a myth is it's a passing fad, which is obviously not.
I've been, I was doing it back at a time that literally when I was trying to tell people what I was doing, they did think it was WWE. But so I had to explain. But it was at this point, it's the fastest growing sport out there. It's obviously the big Fox deal with the UFC. Bellator is now took the Ultimate Fighter's place on Spike. Mm-hmm. I remember a time where there would be a couple UFC. I could tell you every fighter on a card because there was only a couple UFCs a year. Mm-hmm. Now there's a couple UFCs a month. Yes. You could say it's oversaturated market or not, but obviously wouldn't be doing it if people weren't watching. So it's continually growing. It's weird for me because I spent more time doing this sport when it wasn't popular than it has been popular. I mean, at some point it'll flip over that, just like being a certain age. But yes, but it allows me to follow my passion and make a living at it. So, before I said I didn't want to open a gym or whatever, I mean, there was other reasons, financial, I didn't want to go in and just become, lose everything I had. But the popularity is positive. It's definitely going in the right direction, and I don't think it's going to stop.
What's the oldest person you see competing or training?
Training? I mean, we got guys, quite a few guys, awesome guys. Ward, Ben, they're around in their 60s, around 60s.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're still in their 60s and doing this.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. What?
Those are the best guys.
They're awesome. Their attitudes, they're just great guys. It's I hope the young guys take note and listen. Not just listen, but watch how these guys are because, they're pretty impressive.
What is the aspect? And please forgive me if I'm not familiar with the actual timeline or the association of it. But Strikeforce is gone, or pretty much is out of business. And that was I forgot the other man's name. He was in it he was in charge of it.
Scott Coker. Scott Coker.
Thank you. Yeah, what happened with Strikeforce and how that UFC?
They were actually bought out by the UFC.
Okay,
they were actually bought out. That's how they absorbed all the contracts. I think they brought in most of the fighters, if not all, at least gave them one fight.
What was the guy that's Commissioner Dave or something? Who's the head of his UFC?
Dana White.
Dana White. Okay, I keep thinking Dana was with Strikeforce, but he's not. He's with.
No.
Okay.
No. Right. The UFC is, as all successful business has absorbed, I guess 3 major companies: Strikeforce, WEC, and Pride. Mm-hmm. But they pretty much got their library. I think that was a lot of, especially Pride, that was their worth, getting the library of footage. Right. But they definitely, absorbed their talent as well. So, they, especially the old school, obviously Bellator is now becoming a major player, but for a long time UFC had all the talent.
I'm going to ask a question that's going to irk the nerves of some people, and probably especially those who may be listening. Hey, I got backup. She's going to protect me. Why and how UFC has now overtaken, or has overtaken boxing?
Wow.
Yeah, I told you I'm going to
I like boxing. Man, there's a lot of things. I mean, you can, obviously Don King comes to mind. Here's the thing. It's good and bad. The UFC has branded itself as the UFC. Boxing has branded itself as whoever's the marquee fighter is, and usually behind that is a shady promoter or manager. and you always, just like the MMA and UFC, they have independent sanctioning bodies and independent state athletic commissions and stuff. But it seems that for whatever reason, there seems to be way more corruption. To me, as much, and I'm a boxing fan. I don't find it as exciting as MMA. There's a lot more. I mean, you have boxing and MMA, but you have a lot more, things to have to deal with. Everybody, even in MMA, I think the casual fan prefers a stand-up fight to the ground fight, especially people that aren't educated in groundwork, But, and I don't even know. There's a lot of things, and
Be honest.
I know. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball here. Why people do what have overtaken. I personally think MMA is more exciting. I guess if I wanted to, I could have started boxing. I didn't. I went directly into MMA. I obviously learned boxing as part of my MMA training. I don't know. I'll let Tom hit on it. Go ahead.
Well, now I was just going to say maybe because it seems to be more real and authentic in what MMA and UFC fighters do compared to boxing nowadays. So that would be my point of view, and I'm not a fighter, so.
I would agree to a certain extent. Back to the original question, I don't think boxing's, it's not dead. It's not going anywhere. I think a lot of it is based on perception and some of the stuff that Rick touched on, whereas the UFC is branding itself and marketing itself as the marquee name. And, in boxing you have Floyd Mayweather is a big name, Manny Pacquiao, and he's kind of dropped off a little bit. But then you have, everyone else below that. Whereas in the UFC, the UFC is up there with those names, but even the top fighters, like George St. Pierre is probably the highest paid fighter, and he's not making anything close to what Floyd Mayweather's making, based off of pay-per-view buys, based off of the gate that they're getting. And if you're a boxing fan, over the past year or two, there have been like some phenomenal fights, on HBO, on Showtime. And for a few years, that wasn't the case. I think they were highlighting a lot more heavyweights where the action wasn't, not as good. The heavyweight division's kind of thin anyways, and I think they've kind of moved the focus to some of the lighter weight classes that are providing more fights, more exciting fights. And, I think boxing, especially even as far as like I don't know how to explain it, like a supplement to MMA, will always have a big place. A big time MMA fan is probably usually also a fan of high level boxing, whereas it's not exactly you don't exactly have the carryover, especially if you listen to some of the fights and some of the commentators, some of the old commentators that badmouth mixed martial arts. Those guys aren't fans, and they're just like behind the curve. They don't appreciate it. They're close-minded, some would say. I'm one of them that would say that.
Well, can we get them to reintroduce themselves and plug the gym and everything, please? Because my brother might be listening. He might be listening.
Okay, go ahead.
My name, once again, is Tom Lawlor. I don't have a whole lot of stuff that you could do except follow me on Twitter at Filthy Tom Lawlor. That's pretty much it. You could always come into MMA Institute on 6415 Jank Road. Is it 23255? No. 23225. Yeah. There you go. And I'll let Rick take over now.
Okay. You can just check us out, MMA Institute, 6415 Jank Road. Check the website is probably the most popular way to kind of check us out. It's MMAinstitute.com. Anybody's welcome to come in, check out the gym. You can just, we have a Facebook page. I guess it's MMA Institute. Look up MMA Institute, yeah.
Facebook.com
/ MMA Institute, yes. If you just want to come in, just check out classes. You can just watch. If you'd like to come in and get a tour of the place, get a free private lesson, and kind of go through a consult and see what you're looking for, just call up and the front desk will set you up for that. I think this could definitely come in and check us out.
My brother asked, he wanted to know, is it more beneficial at fight time to cut weight to make a weight class or to fight at your natural body weight without cutting? I'll
bet both, because once again, this is kind of funny between him. Health-wise, it's obviously fighting near your natural weight's better. It's, size matters, and the thing is, everybody's cutting weight, and some of these guys are, definitely unhealthily cutting weight and doing extreme, but it's kind of the higher levels of competition. It really depends on the level of competition. In the UFC, and even on the regional scene, I have a couple fighters that cut a crazy amount of weight. I don't necessarily think it's great, but it's they mentally, which there's a lot of mental part of the sport. They think it's a big advantage to, these guys are sometimes cutting 20 pounds in, a couple 48 hours, and they get back when they step into the cage. Sometimes these guys are 15, 20 pounds bigger than an opponent that dropped 5 pounds. And that's a big difference. So at the higher levels, and here's the thing, and it just happened in wrestling and other weight-dependent sports. Until they make same-day weigh-ins, you're gonna have extremes. It's any sport. If there's weight classes, you're gonna have people always trying to, get that little advantage. To me, and I know to Tom, one of the worst things ever is cutting weight. I mean, because the way, it's not when you're cutting weight for a fight. Obviously, you're dieting, you're preparing, but the weight cutting you're talking about for a fight is dehydrating. And if you're dehydrating because we're mainly water. I mean, if you were 70, 80% water, I think I don't know, whatever. But you're getting guys that weigh 190, cutting 20 pounds to make 170, and that's water. I've cut not that much, but some crazy weight before. I mean, you can't even think. Your brain's dehydrated when you start cutting. I mean, I've seen people cramp up their hands are in balls because they can't even open up their fingers because they're so cramped. And I mean, it is what it is. And like I said, I definitely don't. I don't even say I don't promote it, and I don't want my amateurs doing. I mean, like I said, you got to cut a little bit, but 5 pounds is not crazy to do. Sweat it out. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on your level. It's one of those. This is probably the dirty side of MMA. I guess you would say that too. It is what it is. I mean, Tom right here, he prefers to fight at his natural weight, and he's a UFC fighter. Has talked to me about going back up to 205, and I mean, obviously it's going to be healthier for him. He'll have a better quality of life as well. Really, I mean, honestly, besides obviously you're doing a lot of harm to yourself. There's a mental fortitude to do that not everybody would be able to do, because it's unbelievable, miserable. But I'll let Tom touch on that as well.
Yeah, I can share just a little story from my last fight, which was I believe it was April 6th of last year in Sweden, and I'm not sure what the factors are that exactly led to it, but I was cutting weight. I've never had an issue before. I usually cut about 15 or 20 pounds over the 5 days before the fight. Sounds bad, right? But a lot of it is that water weight. So, if your body's 80% water, mine's probably like 60% water and 20% wine or something. So I did go
water to wine.
The Virginia Wine Fest was a few weeks ago. So right now I'm probably at like 60% wine and 20% water. But this has never happened to me before. I was just cutting weight. Everything was going fine. I lost about 5 pounds in 20 minutes, and then just started throwing up. Started throwing up green. Tried to go back in the sauna, had to get back out, kept throwing up, and then just kind of went up to the room and passed out, and woke up the next morning, cut the rest of the weight, and I didn't feel great. But that was one of the things in my head. I'd always said there's a lot of guys that use IVs after they cut a bunch of weight, and the IV will put on the pounds pretty quickly. And I always said, if I ever have to use an IV to make weight to feel better, that's like too much for me. So now I'm starting to kind of think the same thing about throwing up. If I'm cutting weight and I'm throwing up, pure green.
That's not good.
And it wasn't because I was drinking an Incredible Hulk at the club the night before.
Yeah. Green.
Then it's probably an issue.
If it hasn't digested, it's coming right back in that acid. Mr. Sincere?
So have you thought, or are you planning on going to get another fight in at some point in time, or are you gonna just?
Yeah, I had ACL surgery last June, the middle of last June. I had during my last fight, I was basically like a punching bag getting tossed around and beat up, and the guy threw me and tore my ACL in my right knee, ACL, MCL, and meniscus.
Oh Jesus!
And I came back and won the fight, and then I had surgery a couple months later. So they usually say it's about a year. If guys come back within a year, that's a pretty good pace. And I'll probably, I'm looking to come back sometime this summer, so it'll be about a year or maybe 13 months. Sometimes guys are out for a lot longer than that. Luckily, I think because of my body type and the fact that I'm really pretty big into like fitness stuff and a lot of different training ideas and methods. I think my body's recovered pretty well.
How did that feel like when they grabbed the skin and all the other stuff or the tendons to try to help do your ACL? Did they use the manufactured tendon or things like that? What they do for you?
I think I have like a 90-year-old woman's patella tendon in my is for the ACL. I hope it's not a 90-year-old woman. They take one from like they say someone who has a similar body type and similar lifestyle. So that pretty much cuts down on the amount of people that they could have used.
You could have put a bull or a monkey for the
Hey, I hope it is. That'd be great. Like a gorilla tendon for my ACL. That'd be perfect. But they use a cadaver tendon. The reason they say there's less of an incidence of rejection if they use your patella tendon,
right?
But then that adds in recovery time. And actually, the doctor that did the surgery, is the same one. I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with Anderson Silva's last fight, where he broke his leg.
Yeah,
it's the same doctor that set his leg, did the surgery on me, and Anderson Silva's back like kicking pads and moving around and doing stuff that there's no way that somebody who shattered their leg 2 months ago should be doing. So good job, Doc.
What's the type of money that's earned in this, if you don't mind me asking, like the average salary for a fighter?
I'm not sure where you could come up with an average salary because there are a lot of guys at the top level that are making a bunch of money, and then there's a lot of fighters who are a lot lower than that. And hopefully it continues to pick up as the sport grows. But me personally, I make $19,000 per fight. It's $19,000 to show. It's another $19,000 when I win. And it continues to go up. And all that stuff's public record, so I don't feel bad about talking about it because you can go on the Athletic Commission's website and check it out.
So if you do like a good 3 fights a year, and let's say you do 5 fights a year, what's the average number you think is safe?
He's had some bonuses too. So
but like boxers don't want to do no more than, you'll see some now they only do 1 year, but then you see some two.
That's the guys that are making the millions and stuff.
But how many fights a year you should say, besides the training sparring, how many fights a year you say is safe to do?
I would say 3. I mean that's that's kind of a number coming off the top of my head, but I would say 3 would be give you time between fights to have some downtime and then ramp up, ramp down. Obviously, taking in any injuries in the fights and stuff like that. But I think 3 is a good number. There's guys that we have guys, professionals like George. I think Shepard fought 9 times in a year or 8 times. It really. Well, he's a freak of nature as well. But I think. Especially once you make it to the UFC, 3 times a year is probably a good pace to go. These guys, the sports become popular, the skill level, everything, the bar has been raised as far as the talent out there now. So, these guys really have to hustle to get to the UFC. It's not, back in the day when I was started, it could literally be like, hey, I know a guy that's good. He was in the UFC. I mean, it was, there wasn't a lot of scouting. It's not that anymore. Or this guy trains at this camp that's known, and that's how you get in. You got to be at this camp. Nowadays, you got to have a record. You got to have a winning record.
Not a police record.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. It's not easy to get in the UFC. there's thousands and thousands. I mean, it's just like any other professional sport. I mean, how many kids out in the playground wanting to play in the NBA and are good, but how many of them make it? It's just like that. So these guys, these fighters coming up, they have to hustle, but at the same time, you have to have time to repair and prepare. So, after you fight, you need a little bit of downtime, and then you always want to be growing as a fighter. You never want to, if you're staying stagnant as a fighter, you're definitely going to get left behind. So,
I had a question about the injury thing. Now, not to say that either one of y'all had it, but have you all seen any people that have had, let's say, not a tear of the ACL, but let's say like I'm not going to say stretching it, let's say bruised. How long is that something that can continue to nag them for years and years and years, or is it one of those things like when the doctor say, "Oh, you can exercise it in the morning and loosen it up," but is that something that will continue to keep on going for years and years if it's just for a bruise?
Oh, a bruise on any part of the body?
No, like the ACL, like in the
back ACL. I mean, the ligaments. Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be injured again. Once it reaches its full capacity and it's back to 100% health. I know there are incidences of re-tears, okay, but there's also incidences of people tearing the other knee based on imbalances. So as long as you're taking care of those things, you can always train. To be honest, I mean, it's not like I train at least twice a day, almost every day, 6 days a week. Sometimes I train more than that. So I'm pretty beat up a lot of the time. Okay, but there are a lot of things you can do. They sell foam rollers everywhere now, so you can do self-massage, things like that. You can stretch. You can do some mobility work. All that stuff will help you, not only training, but you'll feel healthier on a day-to-day basis as well. One of the bigger issues that I find, and this is even probably just with recreational competitors, is a lot of times when you're doing mixed martial arts. Or like right now, we're all sitting down, right? This is an unnatural position for our body, okay? So we're putting ourselves in some sort of harm right now just by being slumped over, by not sitting upright, even just by sitting. We're kind of jamming ourselves onto our tailbone. That's not exactly healthy, right?
Right.
So
right.
We're all moving around.
yeah. Everybody's got posture all the time.
So forget about the bruises, forget about the ACLs. A lot of times people need to learn how to just move correctly, and take themselves out of these bad positions. So yeah, I see everybody puffing their chest up now and moving their shoulders back. But that's a good thing, The more, even like little stuff like that, even if you're driving and you can stretch when you're doing that. All that stuff's gonna help. Sorry if I got a little bit off topic there with the question.
Oh no problem.
I have a question. Someone wants to know, Kenneth Carmichael, one of my high school friends, asked, do you think Anderson Silva can make a comeback and eventually beat Chris Weidman?
No, not because Anderson Silva couldn't make a comeback, but because I think Chris Weidman's had his number. They fought twice. Chris Weidman defeated him the first time by knockout. Anderson Silva was a little cocky, but he still he lost the first round. Chris Weidman won that first round on the judges' scorecards. And in the second fight, Chris Weidman was destroying him. And then, and Anderson Silva ended up throwing a kick and breaking his leg. I'll also commend your high school friend, since he's still in high school. I'm very, very impressed by his language skills and questions.
Well, you mentioned the cost factor or the income. What are some of the expenses that go along with the sport?
Oh, I mean, there's a million expenses. If you look in like the media, you'll hear a lot of guys that say they almost have no money leaving training camp because they have to pay coaches. They have to, for the most part, I'm trying to eat healthy, and that's a lot harder to do than it is to just eat cheaper food that's not as good for you. I mean, that's one of the big issues that America has is we have all these food sources that are pretty much garbage that you're putting into your body, but hey, it's a lot cheaper than buying a pound of organic meat for $15. Right. So there's a lot of expenses that go into that. When you go on a fight trip, for example, the UFC pays for yourself and one corner to go. Okay, now you get up to 3 corners, so that means you have to buy couple extra flights, bring some other people out there. You maybe have to get an extra hotel room. So even just the week of the fight, you're adding in another probably over $1,000 in costs, unless you want to shove 4 guys into a room and, try to sleep while they party every night, which is somehow seemed to be the case for my 9 UFC fights. But
So for my pure entertainment, and if your listeners could see him, he's pretty ripped.
Rick would win.
No, not at all.
What's your daily routine? Like, what do you do?
Oh, well. It's a loaded question. I usually wake up at about 8 a.m. And I'll have a cup of coffee with some. You want the whole thing? You want step by step? What do you want?
Why not? Go ahead.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Work it out.
I'll give you a cup of coffee with 2 tablespoons of grass-fed half and half. All right. I have that about an hour before breakfast. For breakfast, I have a smoothie made out of coconut milk, hemp protein, and another plant-based protein. Like it's Vega Sport, but it has like pea protein and also other plant-based proteins in there. I put that in there with spinach and I blend it. And then I drink it. You won't even taste the spinach.
Yes, Steve.
Guaranteed.
You've seen my drinks.
Promise.
Yeah.
You barely even taste it. I put it in the blender, blend it up, drink that at about 9. Try to get to the gym at 10. Sometimes I'm a little late. Like today, I was a little late. I was frozen. Go train for about 2 hours under Rick's tutelage. Then I'll go get something to eat, go home, or go home and eat. Maybe do some work. Then I'll go lift weights either at night or in the afternoon. And if I lift weights around 4 o'clock, then I'm back in the gym after that for another usually about hour and a half, 2 hours. And if not, then I just lift weights for an hour and a half. And I skipped a lot of food in there as well. But
Wow. So what is your support system or your dating status? When do you have time to do anything outside of sporting?
Oh, this is gonna be good. This is
Outside
good.
of sporting.
This is good. I want to hear this
and
one.
eating.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'll answer for him. I'm taking.
To be honest, on that question, it's weird. I've never even thought about this, but recently in the past like couple months, I've had people always ask me like, "Hey, well, first of all, I was in a relationship for 5 years, so like this nobody would have asked me anyways. But after I got out of that relationship, I started doing online dating. Well, everybody always asks you, "What are you into?" And I can never come up with anything. I'm like, wow, there's like 2 things I'm into, or 3. And it's like MMA, like weightlifting and fitness, and food.
And pro wrestling.
Oh yeah, well that's the umbrella. They all go underneath that. So really, I mean, I don't know. I don't do a whole lot, I guess. I travel. I work for the GCA, which is a company that helps staff and provide sanctioning for amateur fights in the area. So that takes up a lot of my weekends. So usually on Friday and Saturday, I'm doing almost full days because sometimes I have to drive, maybe up to 3 hours. And then I'm at an event that night for 2 hours, and the next day, usually about 10 hours at an event. So I'll wake up in the hotel, go work out, and then go there. So other than that, I don't have a whole lot of free time, but I do enjoy long walks on the beach. Summer is starting to come up, so I will probably be at Belle Isle shirtless quite a bit. Just my free trail running time will probably be about 2 o'clock. So if you're out there and you see me, let me know.
I got it. All right, and this is back to at the beginning of what your day was like. All right, I'm gonna give you an example of what I put in a smoothie that I use, and I want you to tell me what's something either to take out or add that would help. All right, so I got what is this thing? It's like this tall. and I put spinach, kale, blueberries, strawberries, bananas, celery, and carrots, and blend it up into a drink. So, what would you suggest that I either take out or add or whatnot to make it maximize the work to lose the weight? I mean, along with whatever else. I'm just just for the smoothie.
So one thing that like a glaring omission there is a viable protein source, which is really probably the most important thing.
Apple.
Well, that's not one. Yeah.
So eggs. I should add.
Probably find a good powder.
Eggs, yeah, or like I use the reason why I said what I put in there before is like hemp protein and other plant-based proteins. Hemp protein is one of the few ones that's like covers all the spectrum of the amino acids. But there's like, if you look at, we were talking about this earlier. Okay, animals store all the toxins and stuff from their body in their fat, right? So a lot of times when they're using or making whey protein powder and stuff like that, it's not the best ingredients, that you're getting. You're getting some toxins and stuff in there. It's not the highest quality. So for smoothies, I've started to just leave that stuff out. And I try to get from my food the rest of the day some sources like I'll eat like chicken or stuff like that. That's either lean meat or I'll buy organic meat, which is expensive. So for a smoothie, you could put in. I mean, you could just go anywhere and get hemp protein, or I'm sure like Kroger's and places like that have it. Pea protein, things like that. So I would definitely put some of that stuff in there. The only thing I would say about maybe that smoothie in the morning is, maybe take the apple out, and it depends on the taste. If you can handle the taste without it, then go for it. And I would add that in if you're going to drink like a smoothie after your workout, or carrots also. Carrots are they're kind of like a starchy vegetable in a way. Okay, so they're going to have a different reaction in your body. So maybe if you want to take those out, let's be honest, carrots don't taste that great. How's your eyesight?
Yeah, that's no problem.
How's your eyesight?
It doesn't even make a difference.
There you go, perfect. Forget those carrots. Save it for after the workout.
All right, I have a couple of more questions. My brother, every time I would go to his house, he's watching fights, so he's asking a bunch of questions. He wants to know, do either of you have a current or past MMA fighter that you draw inspiration from, and why?
For me, just any of the old school guys, Randy Couture, Pat Miletich. As one-dimensional, I look back as he was. Obviously, Hoist Gracie had a huge impact on me. Chuck Liddell, any of the old school guys. I mean, most of them aren't around anymore. I would say the two mega camps back in the day, Miletich and the old Team Quest guys, which was Randy Couture, Matt Lindland, Dan Henderson. That's it. I mean, the new guys are, as far as skill sets, like I said, the bar is constantly getting raised. So there's no comparison. It's like people try to bring up Jack Johnson or Muhammad Ali compared to the sport has evolved. But I'm old. Since I am old school, I'm definitely going to look back on the guys that had an impact on me when I first started, for sure. Yeah.
Well, my favorite fighter, I may get in trouble for saying this, is this kid named Chris Gatton, who last week at a fight I was at landed a drop kick on his opponent, like a pro wrestling style drop kick. And I said, that is awesome. He lost the fight, but I mean, he at least landed that drop kick. Yeah. But besides him, I would have to say there's a guy, Kazushi Sakuraba, who was a semi-well-known pro wrestler in Japan in the mid to late 90s, who ended up fighting for Pride Fighting Championships, and he brought like a new level of theatrics and entertainment to the sport back then overseas. And it's a shame that the U.S. fans and audience really didn't get to see him in his prime fighting here in the U.S. But he'll always be a legend to me.
Okay, and one more. He wants to know, do you see Dana White as the Vince McMahon of MMA?
Can you speak to this? We're not getting fired.
No, there.
I got a good.
This is boss.
There are a lot of similarities. Luckily, because I'm pretty sure he could get a lot of guys to do it. Luckily, Dana White hasn't started like a kiss my behind club like Vince McMahon did back in 2001, where he had guys bending over and kissing his keister. But yeah, there are a lot of similarities. I mean, they're both staunch businessmen, and they've both taken what could have been failing enterprises or things that wouldn't be as big as they are today, national, and made huge businesses out of them. And I believe actually one of the owners, he's actually he owns more of the UFC than Dana White does. His name's Lorenzo Fertitta. Did an interview within the past week or two and actually said, we followed their business model to a certain extent.
Especially the pay-per-view.
Yeah, and they've actually surpassed WWE by far.
They just forcing it down your throat. It's just about that. Like you have to. It almost captures your interest in things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've done a great job. The storylines aren't as clear cut maybe as professional wrestling, but there are a lot of times there where if you dig beneath the surface, you'll see somebody coming back from an injury, maybe somebody fighting to keep their keep their family life intact and keep their house, because there are guys that are facing these hardships who are fighting at a high level. So a lot of times, and I think it's really good for MMA, is the people somewhat, because there's not millions and millions of dollars for everybody. People are still kind of like the everyday man can still be involved to a certain extent, and people can relate to that. So there are certain storylines and certain things in there that kind of play towards that, and I think the UFC has done a great job of highlighting that.
Do you ever see this being an Olympic sport?
No.
Do you want it to be an Olympic sport? Or, I'm sorry, back to you.
No. Yeah. If it became an Olympic sport, it would probably be unrecognizable of what MMA is. They would change the rule set
because it has to be so regulated and things like that. Like they had to do with the other sports.
One of the key things for a sport to get into the Olympics is having a worldwide sanctioning. And that's definitely not going to happen anytime in the near future. Like for wrestling, and that's why, because they've in our circles, there's talk about trying to have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the Olympics, and that's what's holding it back, is having a legit worldwide, not for profit type organization in control of it.
But see, the thing about it is, I get scared when I see Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that they would tone it down so drastically that it's not the same.
Brazilian, say that again. I'm sorry.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or any of the other faiths, like even some of the stuff that I know, maybe because I understand it because of a guy who have traveled around the world and seen some of these things. So, but still aching towards here in America how much more involved in it or exciting, that type of thing. But it seems like sometimes, not just with the possibility of MMA or jiu-jitsu, just other sports overall, it's toned down sometimes compared to
well, for me, like I said, when I first got into MMA, it was at the time the hoist was still around. So the first thing I got into, like I really wanted to learn, was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's evolved so much past that now, as far as what the skill sets you have to compete in MMA, and jiu-jitsu, having jiu-jitsu is part of it, but it's just a small part. I will tell you that because I do get some higher level jiu-jitsu guys wanting to come over to start to learn MMA and stuff, that the way it's taught at a lot of jiu-jitsu schools now, the whole pulling guard thing, the whole flopping on your back. I mean, I tell my guys, there is no such thing as working the guard in MMA, but I want you to have a black belt level guard just in case you are forced to be there. You don't fight. The days of fighting off your back and winning are over. I had a guy just recently. We went to a grappling tournament. Like I said, we also compete in it. And I have other schools, and it's submission only, and they're pulling guard. It's just, to me, it's just it's not realistic for a self-defense. I mean, you jump on your back with me standing above you on the street, I'm going to kick you in the face. I'm just saying, it's really,
tell it like it is. Thank you.
It's really unrealistic the way people are teaching it nowadays.
what would you say is the worst fight that you've ever been into? Like street, growing up as a kid, today, whatever. Is there a fight that you've ever been into?
I mean, I've been in a few, street and in the cage.
Yeah, street, like something
street,
happened. Like,
I mean,
what happened?
I've never lost. So I mean, I've never had. I mean, I've been fortunate. In the street, it is what it is. I just luckily, because all my street fighting was done before I was truly trained. I one time got surrounded and by like 15 guys. And supposedly I got hit from behind. I knocked 2 guys out and they ran. So I was lucky not to. Fortunately, they were idiots and didn't kill me.
See, that's what I saw on the martial arts food. There's always it'd be like 30 guys, but they all come 1 or 2 at a time.
And that was the thing. That's exactly what happened. Why I was able to knock 2 guys out. It was I wish I had video of it because it was actually probably funny hindsight. Like 3 or 4 guys would jump at me at the same time. They would look at each other and not throw. So whoever's in front of me, I hit. So, yeah, I didn't really get hit. So, I was very fortunate. Like I said, they were not very organized. Because to be honest, what we do and I'm not looking to fight 3 guys at the same time. I'm good at what I do. I mean, in the street, just to even take out weapons, they have friends. They're concrete is hard. There's a lot of things. Honestly, I don't want to be involved in that, to be honest. But at this point in my life, that's the last thing I want to do.
Exactly. Let me ask you this. I'm sorry. You can go.
I think I have a losing street fight or record. So I mean, I've been beat up on the street a few times. Nothing like major, but I mean, I've been in my fair share of bars in the past, and you've been involved in some fights. I mean, look, it's been years. But
you're only 30.
Yeah, but this is before I was fighting. This is before I was fighting professionally.
Okay. Professionally. Okay,
yeah,
we got that.
Yeah. So my amateur street fight record is like, 2-8 or something.
Sincere.
I don't. The only reason why I'm saying is because you all haven't had any kind of situations outside of in that realm since you all have been trained.
Your answer's kind of slow.
Well, I mean, it depends on what you mean. If you take my training, I've wrestled for since high school.
I mean, like physical altercations where you out somewhere.
No.
Okay.
It almost never happens.
Doesn't that have to do with also your lifestyle has changed, so you might not hang out in that bar as much as you used to.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
What I was saying earlier when I was talking about the kids program, that self-confidence, it kind of goes into other. I mean, I personally, and I think most of the people when I talk with, because this conversation gets brought up, a lot of people getting in street fights have something to prove. I will defend myself. Anybody, especially that is trained, will defend themselves, but there's nothing to prove. We do this every day. It's if I shoot 1,000 baskets today, I'm going to beat somebody that doesn't do it. It's the same thing with fighting. It's not what do I have to prove, and what does anybody have to prove that does this. So, like I said, with that confidence comes kind of a peace with that.
Let me ask you this: a quick question. Do you guys own a gun? And would you say, okay, I don't need a gun, I can defend myself now?
Oh no, me and Tom are all actual polar opposites on this. Well, he's coming around, but no, I personally am a big fan of guns, and I believe in the Second Amendment, but I have that be prepared type thing. I don't always carry a gun on me or anything like that. I'm not paranoid by any means, but I believe in the right to carry a gun. I enjoy shooting. I mean, my thing, actually, I love skeet shooting. I'm not a big fan of shooting still targets, but I do. Yeah, huh?
Human targets?
No, still, no, I definitely don't shoot human targets. But I really actually enjoy doing trap and skeet. So that's something I probably do own more shotguns than I do handguns and rifles, just because of what I enjoy doing with them. But yeah, I tell everybody I have guns. I enjoy using them, and I will be very, very blessed and happy to go through this life. Not shooting somebody, never having to pull a gun on somebody. And
I am the human weapon. I'm all for people's right to own guns. In a perfect world, no one would have one, so we wouldn't have to worry about it. But that's not the case. So, for the most part, from what I understand, I'm no expert, but most of the people that shouldn't have guns are getting them illegally anyways. So people that are going through the correct avenues and buying the guns, go for it. I enjoy skeet shooting. I like shooting steel targets. I just personally, I don't own a gun. I figure this is really my thought process. If somebody wants to come into my house with a gun and wants to kill me, well, then I probably deserve it. I probably did something along the line. So hey, that's how I look at it. I'm looking at the bright side.
Yeah.
Well, my brother Damien again has asked. Well, we went over this topic a little bit before, but he wanted to know, at your institute, have you seen a significant increase in women coming in to be trained in fight?
Definitely. From the day I opened, I actually had girl fighters. I would say just the average enrollment of females just interested for whatever reason to use this as fitness, to use this for self-defense, or to eventually fight is definitely increased as a whole. Yeah.
Now, the self-defense aspect of it, I mean, are there classes that are weekly, or are these just like, do you have one-time classes? Like, if I wanted to come and know how to defend myself from somebody hitting me, or
I'm like, that's a hard question, but it's like you're not going to get good at defending yourself by taking a class. I mean, we can go back to the gun. You're not going to proficiently shoot a gun by shooting it one time. There's anything out there that takes any type of skill set, it takes time. If I was going to do a seminar on self-defense, would be more about awareness of your surroundings and self-awareness and all that stuff, more so than trying to teach you how to block a punch. Because in reality, to truly be proficient at that takes time. So if I was going to do a one-day seminar, it would be more on stuff like that, how to get yourself out of a situation, and I've done that type of stuff. But if you truly want to learn how to defend yourself, it's going to take time.
And where is this again?
6415 Jank Road, MMA Institute.
All right, Ms. Tasha.
What do you guys see yourself in the next 5 years?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's not one that I really put that much thought into. I mean, I do think about the future, but I like to live in the present. I feel that every moment is a gift, and you should unwrap that gift and revel in all its glory instead of thinking about what the next gift you're going to open is. Hopefully I'll be alive in 5 years, and everything's still going good. Yeah, hopefully I'm not 6 feet under, but if I am, put me in the Hollywood cemetery.
Okay.
Apparently there's some important people there.
I'm going to take it further. What type of woman are you looking for?
Yes.
Alive. Breathing.
Not Walking Dead.
Was there a particular type or certain things a woman should like that you like, or would you like? You said you had your parents to pay for college, so I'm assuming they were very good parents to you, and you were like a woman similar to your mother, or the likeness to certain characteristics, things of that nature.
Really the biggest thing to me with like females is finding a female that's real open to different ideas and wants to experience new things. I'm not the type of person that likes to like sit home and watch TV or just do the mundane things all the time. I like to experience different things at least once. I'm not gonna say I do everything once, because that's like open up a whole nother can of worms. So, but I like to do different things. I like to go to shows. I like to go to plays. I went to a monster truck show that was here a few weeks ago. Went to the wine festival. I've done a million different things, and I'll continue to do so, and hopefully, there's somebody alongside me doing it as well.
For you, sir?
I got my girl.
No.
Get me in trouble. You're trying to get me in trouble.
No.
She's perfect.
Good answer. We're going to let you slide. Sincere.
I don't have nothing. I'm just enjoying this.
What would you? I'm going to give you one of my $1,000 questions here. What would you say both of you are head of physical fitness, or you're on the president cap. And I say, we sorry for the microphone issue. They don't want to work right. Let's say we have a lot of we have other general problems, issues, health, medicine, education, whatever. And I say, gentlemen, I run out of ideas. I'll give each three of you 3 things you want to change here in America, anything, whatever. And I say, whatever you say, I'm going to roll with it because I couldn't do it. So I'm going to go to the wiser 5 year older than him guy.
Wow, man, that you really threw one in there. I mean,
yes, and please, we are a show that prides itself on honesty. So
yeah,
please,
I'll be honest. That's why I pride myself on being honest.
And feel free to call out anybody.
Yeah.
Feel free to call out anybody, names, addresses, and phone numbers. We'll be more than happy.
I like it. So it's almost political questions. So that's why it's a
It
scary one.
it could be political, social, whatever you want.
It's just, I'll
It could
just
be
throw
more
out my
carrots
political
at the
views.
store.
I don't know what I am. I'm definitely a free thinker. I think, I'm not a big government guy. Maybe somewhat libertarian, if I was going to say, so I don't like government in my life. Obviously I'm not an anarchist by any means as well, but I think we're overregulated. So coming up with regulations for this, I believe I'm responsible for myself. You're responsible for yourself. I think the travesty is if the information is not out there. It's like I said before, when somebody comes to me about dieting, I say the information's out there. You know how to eat healthy. But at the end of the day, it's on you. You have to make your own decisions. The repercussions are going to be on you. So, I don't really know how to answer because that's my views.
Okay, sir.
3 things is quite a few. One of the first things I would probably do is try to, and this always gets brought up, is try to increase the education budget. Easier said than done. There's a lot of issues that go along with that. But I mean, I don't know if I'd rework the entire system, but I think there's a lot of things that should be done as far as education goes in order to kind of direct people towards like a viable life path rather than just sitting away in a classroom and you're left to your own devices a lot of time. That one thing that also goes along with that is I would probably increase the budget that we have for physical education. You see physical education programs getting cut across the board, and that's a major issue. It's kind of strange. There is a lot more like awareness about physical fitness, but it seems like it's like a bell curve. You have the people who are super, super physically fit and have taken all this information and been able to apply it and reach new goals. But at the same time, there's still the majority of the population, or maybe even an increasing amount of the population is at the other end of the spectrum where, some of the information is out there, but they're not applying it. And, you have raise and rate of childhood obesity, diabetes, type 2 diabetes in adults, things like that. And I think a lot of that could come from promoting a healthy lifestyle at the base level. And I know when I was a kid, I had no clue what to eat, like no idea. I was eating like Jimmy Dean's sausage biscuits every day for breakfast, and then chugging a 12-pack of Mountain Dew, not even Diet Mountain Dew, which is delicious, but regular Mountain Dew.
But the asparagus is not good in it.
No, it's all terrible for you. Maybe that's the Jimmy Dean's sausages are pretty good. But just having the information out there, and also I would probably give myself like a huge amount of money, a salary, just for being on it. Yeah. I would give it away.
What's the most romantic place that you gentlemen would like to take a lady to?
What are we doing, a dating thing here?
I already answered this question earlier. When I said no, I said I went to the monster truck a few weeks ago.
That covers it.
For you, sir?
I'm pretty simple. A deserted island for like,
Okay.
if I want to be with Malay, I want to be alone. Just to have us time. So.
What do you think was going on with the this missing flight plane?
I obviously think there is a human error or human done. Everything's a conspiracy theory at this point. I think the pilots did it. I think they had some issues, whatever they were. If they're out there or not, I think it was done by the pilots. That's my uneducated guess. There you go.
Same thing.
Aliens.
Favorite car? What kind of car are you driving now? And if you can have any car, what car would you drive?
I drive a 2008 Ford Escape, which is looks like it's, I don't even know how to explain it. It's been destroyed by me, so I have no one else to blame. My dream car is like a 1986 Suzuki Samurai. I love them.
How would you? That thing will flip over, and it's so light. And you're a bigger man. How can you fit in that thing?
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe I'd get it lowered. Would that stop the chances of it flipping?
No.
I had a old Jeep Wrangler for a while, but the gas prices are so high, and that thing was a piece of garbage anyways. But or apparently it turned out to be, because my friend who I sold it to keeps having problems.
Oh boy. But you, sir?
I'm obviously. What I drive and what I'd want are two different things. And if there's no cap on it,
what do you drive now?
I drive a Honda Civic Hybrid.
Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes. I get great gas mileage.
Yeah, so you got some money. Okay.
No, I don't know if I got. No, I'm going to tell you this, because my car before that was a SUV, and what I save in gas. Literally, I make a car payment with what I paid in gas.
Oh, man.
So,
well worth that Civic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, my fiance has the same exact car, but not the non-hybrid version. She was a little upset because she got hers first, and I got she was upset because mine came with leather, and I talked her out of getting leather. But I still get the hybrid. So she was. I know. I still hear about this. But yeah. Oh man. I mean, if I could have any car, man, I'd just go crazy. So I give me a Bugatti or a Lamborghini and say heck with it, and just be sweet. But hey, if I would, a limit down, I would just have a nice Lexus.
Both of you are men. So this is MMA and men of action. What's your favorite action movie, and who's your favorite action star?
The Rock in Tooth Fairy.
Awesome.
Man. I'm gonna go with old Chuck Norris. Anything old Chuck Norris.
What do y'all think of the movie Bloodsport? I think of that when I think of MMA. The first thing off the top. I know part of that is not true.
Oh, at this point, it's awful. At this point in my life, it's awful. But I will have to admit that I probably watched it 100 times at some point in my life. But at this point, I'm like, I couldn't watch it.
I'm not a big fan of movies, to be honest, except for The Rock and Tooth Fairy. But I didn't watch. I mean, I've seen Bloodsport, but I haven't watched a lot of these old martial arts films that people seem to be inspired by. I don't care about Rocky. I mean, people always bring that up, like I should be a huge fan, and just doesn't appeal to me. I'm more of like a romantic comedy guy. So even the action movie, that was the first thing that popped into my head was The Rock, because we were talking about it. But I couldn't even name my favorite action movie, probably.
Oh my! See, one of the things with those action movies, they put a lot of kids into those karate schools and all those other things, and just kept on going from there. So that was one of the most interesting things out there. If you wasn't living in Richmond, where else would you live?
I can live anywhere,
yes.
Or where I would, because I'd probably be in Rhode Island. But if I could live anywhere, oh man, I'd probably somewhere in Europe. Something about Europe really appeals to me. The fact that you have all these different cultures, and you can go 3 hours here in Richmond and you're still in Virginia. Whereas there, you go 3 hours almost anywhere, and people are speaking a different language. The architecture is different. The girls look a little different depending on where you are. So something about that really appeals to me. So probably somewhere in Europe. Spain, Barcelona, maybe somewhere
Florence
warm.
and Barcelona's nice out there. It's hot, but it's nice. You, sir?
Like, when I retire from this, I am going to be the perpetual traveler. I'm not going to have a home. I just want to travel.
All right.
Yeah, that's my. That really is like that's for sure. That's what I'm going to do.
Sincere, any final thoughts on this?
Nope, I'm good.
That counts. That's the thought, yeah.
All right. Miss Tasha?
No.
Come on.
Absolutely not.
I've had fun. I've learned a lot, and thank you for answering questions for my friend and my brother. I did learn that the best part of meat, the fat part, is probably the worst part, huh? Because of the toxins and whatnot.
If you get free range and stuff like that, you're a little better off. But
We were actually talking about that before.
on the ride over, we were talking about that.
That is the best part of meat to me.
It's sad, and obviously it's reality. But yeah.
Okay, what about bison meat versus?
Ooh, bison's awesome. Yeah. Bison. And most bison is still somewhat free range. That's as the bigger the industry gets now. Now it's become a big thing. It's not so much, but bison just is low in fat. Period.
Yeah, like some of those meats, like bison, elk. If you get your hands on stuff like that, venison. I mean, that's
Plenty
phenomenal.
Of deer. I got deer in the freezer.
It's great. Yeah. Because it probably hasn't been through the same like processing that some of the other meats are, and they're not pumping that stuff full of hormones because they're not just mass producing it. So like a meat like that, like a grass-fed beef or bison, if you can get it with the fat in it, it's probably even better for you, even than having it lean. Because really, the fats in those meats aren't really the enemy. It's most of the time it's like sugar and stuff like that that's actually worse for you. And anything with like all these added preservatives or added hormones is no good.
I want to thank you, gentlemen, so very much. You have one of the best shows that, honestly, I thank you because you've enlightened us, educated us, and whole thing has been live, and you just brought so much to us and to the table. And just not really with your candor and your humor, but just with your excellent knowledge. And I thank you so very much because there's plenty of people who come and they can say this and give us a lot of information, but you guys really care. To the point you could bring tears to anybody's eyes because of your honest passion to all of this. So I thank you very much for that. And please continue to do the work with your children, your careers, and things like that. You're always a welcome member of this family here, Enliven Radio and LegacyInternetRadio.com, the company as a whole, and anything you have coming, please let us know, or ideas, thoughts, whatever, especially the Wounded Warrior program.
Definitely
we are always about, for me, I call it, not just local community, but the global community, and we just do so very much. I want to thank everybody that was listening out here on LegacyInternetRadio.com, mixlr.com, also out there on the TuneIn radio application. Check us out on all other shows. Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J on Mondays from 7 to 9:30. We're here on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, you have the Green Room 2.0 with comedians Alyssa P and Jay Grizzy from 7 to 9. Thursdays, we have Iron Horse Radio, the Biker Experience, the Cinemax and the Crew. Fridays we have Clutch, one of our newest shows, all about sports and then some with that, from 7 to 9 with Big Rube and his crew and Andre. We also Saturday we have from 7 to 9 Deep House Sessions with DJ Renee Melendez, and before that we have the Reggae Mix and also the Did They Just Play That with Music Only Show. We have so many different types of music. And thank you, Mr. Sincere.
Hey, glad to be here, man.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Miss Tasha.
No problem.
And everything. Did you have fun? This is your first time here?
Yes, it was excellent. I enjoyed myself.
No problem. Things like that. Now, by the way, I want to make well, hold on. Could you hand her the mic, please, if you don't mind? Uh-oh. Did you have fun today?
Yes, I'm gonna have to start making this a habit to come because I was here last Tuesday and it does not seem like it was a week ago.
No, but you know what? It's been a joy. Since you've been coming, the show's been on point.
Really? I feel facetiousness in your voice.
No, seriously, the things, because honestly, I've been fussing to have, because we have other Brandy here and things, and sometimes I feel bad that we may be overpowering, and although she says no, but it's good to have another female here and things like that, because I didn't know she was coming, and you brought a lot in your education and experience, and she needs to be a fighter in your gym. She gonna say what she want.
I play the piano. I can't fight.
She can fight. There's plenty of people. Some of the people with the best hands and best feet were fighters. Seriously.
If I break a finger, who's gonna play the piano for me?
Don't worry, you can play the recording. You know, you can do it right there.
I got a violin player in my gym.
Anything. So but I thank you so very much, and we got a lot of the women we have at our organization here are tough women, and they don't play, and all the women I associate with and things don't play. She's a fighter too. Don't let her fool you. She's a kickboxer and things. She'll put a hole in the door and everything else. So we ain't trying to do nothing like that, but we're always trying to have fun here and learn and stuff like that at the same time. So I appreciate you guys very much. I'm gonna come by your gym and everything. I'm gonna try to come down there. When's a free open day to come by?
I mean, any day you can come by. I mean, if you want to come in for a class, it's just.
I'd like to come and watch for one,
Okay.
and I'd also like to then get in the film. And I'd like to, I usually have my camera somewhere around here, but I'd like to come and film. Just to show practice, just to get us up in there.
If you want to, depending on what you want to get, the mornings are great if you want to get like the fighters.
What time is it? 9 o'clock.
We open at 9. The fight team starts at 10.
I'm gonna have to do that and things. Miss Brandon, you open? You're not free in the morning times, are you? No. I'm blessed. Okay. All right, so, and everything.
If you come at 10, you can watch the fight team, and if you come on a Monday or Wednesday, you could see the kickboxing, the general kickboxing class.
I'm gonna.
You could even jump in, probably.
It's been some years since I did the shadow and kickboxing. I promise you, that was a lot of fun and things like that. I'm a little lot slower. I am, but I had a lot of fun back then. So
bring some shorts. And you can watch the hour of the fight team training, and 11 o'clock we have kickboxing.
You know what? I'm going to get in there because I'm going to get in there.
You said
yes,
younger and slower?
I am going to do it.
No. But when you said younger and slow, was that like back in your basketball days?
I did play a little bit of summer leagues.
No. I didn't say for you to bring that up. No, we're not talking about.
See,
5 foot center. No, okay.
You know what?
Let's go ahead,
I'm 5'6", thank you. And everything.
Little Spud Webb.
See, the thing is, see, I'm built a little. I have long legs. I mean, long hands. I can stand and scratch my knees pretty much without bending over. I wear a 14, 15 shoe.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm a little.
Holy crap.
He just, in other words, he stepped on a lot of feet.
Get
up, get all the rebounds if they can't get up.
Yeah, hey, for 3 years I led camp in rebounding and everybody's 6'5", 6'6", 6'10", 7 feet. I'd outbeat them all.
Like Charles Barkley style.
Yeah, something like that.
A little less round, a little more rebound.
Yeah, more, pretty much, and things like a lot of intimidation and things like that. And then it was like, I'm cool with the teacher. I'll make sure you fail.
More like a raisinette.
Oh, I got nothing for that. I got nothing. Tasha, you gonna help me out back here? No. You on his side? And I want to make a point here.
I should have said a milk dud, but I'm not bad. Raisinette milk dud, same thing.
I'm gonna get you. Don't call me for your computer for a week.
All right, I'll figure it out.
But you said, he was kind of cute. The men here are cute. Am I cute? Are we cute?
Everybody's attractive. How about that? In their own right.
That's such a BS answer to the kid. But are we cute? No, excuse me. Leave him alone. With me, particularly, am I cute?
Isn't it time to go?
Exactly.
I got the controls here.
Your thought of the day.
Okay. What did you learn today? This week, by the way. What was the main thing that you learned this week that you enjoyed yourself?
I just said about the fats and the meats and whatnot. And free-range chicken is better than caged. And I learned that. And my brother taught me some things by asking so many questions. I'm going to have to go watch more fights with him.
Well, it's a lot of fun and things. I'm going to leave everybody with some words and make sure everybody be good to themselves. But I'm going to leave y'all with a couple of things. Unless it's mad, passionate, extraordinary love, it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your time. There are too many mediocre things in life. Love shouldn't be one of them. If it's still in your mind, it's worth taking a risk. And I am thankful and always say this for yourself, I am thankful to all those who said no to me. Because of them, I did it myself. You'd be amazed at what you can do. Because sometimes you'll find yourself in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes in the middle of nowhere. and now you'll find yourself. So keep out there, be good. Have any questions, comments, concerns? Love us in enlivenradio@gmail.com. Thank everybody that's listening to MixLR. Who was out there?
Michelle.
K. Robinson Cutting Edge was with us?
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you everybody so much.
Michelle K said I suggested that she join in with the MMA thing, and she
ain't doing it.
She kind of suspect about
she
that.
She ain't doing it. She got no heart. She can't do it. I said it.
Yeah, you talking there because she's not here.
I can talk what I want. I ain't scared of nobody. All right.
Yeah, we know.
Everybody be good to yourself. God bless, and behave yourself, and we'll talk to you soon.